Good morning. Welcome to Monday, June 10th, 2019. It is June 10th. Yes, it is. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Lots of news from E3. Probably the most exciting being Cyberpunk. The release date has been confirmed in 2020, April 16th to be exact, meaning my most anticipated game of 2019 is now Star Wars Fallen Order, and they did release a preview for that with actual gameplay. It looks spectacular. I want to take a look at some of this with you. We're not going to watch the whole thing. We're going to pick out some pieces and take a closer look at Saw Gerrera, which I feel is going to be a main character. Let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I am Montoya. I want to take a closer look at the gameplay from Star Wars Fallen Order, which looks spectacular. Now, keep in mind that this is alpha game footage, meaning the lighting, definitely the facial animations and textures are not complete. I heard some people already complaining it looks like crap, but keep in mind this is also going to console, so PC users may get extra settings to boost up quite a bit to make it look prettier. So first thing you notice here, force pull is in effect. He grabs that vine, gets across there, beautiful physics in use. Now this will be a linear gameplay, not sandbox. It is respawn, wall running, using the force to stick himself to the wall, and I guess climbing fits in there also. But here's a part I want to pause at, take a closer look at, and this is your first peek at Saw Gerrera. Now, you will recognize this character from Rogue One. If you haven't watched Rogue One, go ahead and do that immediately. Played by Forrest Whitaker. You actually first come across Saw Gerrera, not in Rogue One, but you come across him the first time in Clone Wars, the animated series. If you have not watched the Clone Wars, do yourself a favor and go watch that. A lot of people stayed away from it thinking it's too cartoony, but there's so much important lore and storyline in there, such as Saw Gerrera. Now, the first time I saw him in Rogue One, I was so excited because I clicked, I go, I know this guy and I know his backstory. I suspect there's going to be some great storyline coming to us with him involved in there. And to give you a little bit more on him, let's just take a look at the first time Saw Gerrera meets up with Anakin. Here we go. This comes from Clone Wars. This is his big entrance on this flying creature. So here he is. This is how he was introduced to the series. That's his sister, by the way.
At your service. This is General Kenobi, Commander Tano, and Captain Rex.
We're looking forward to taking a fight to those scrapping droids.
Yes, all in good time.
Saw Gerrera.
And there you go. That's how you meet Saw Gerrera. Now, he is an extremist rebel, meaning he fights with the rebels, but he's not actually controlled by them. He's more of an extremist sect of that. And you notice in Rogue One, he does have a robotic leg and possibly a half of a other robotic leg and his arm. So he's taken a lot of battle damage. Now, my question is, has this damage all come from what will happen? Now, keep in mind that he has met Anakin Skywalker, who we know then becomes Darth Vader, right? Will there be a meeting between Darth Vader and Saw Gerrera here? And will he lose a limb in that meeting? That's going to be, well, spoilers, maybe that will happen. I hope it will. Let's take a look what happens.
Refinery lies dead ahead.
What does the Empire want with tree sap?
Nothing good. They refine the sap into a powerful compound, and they're rushing to.
Okay, so they're setting the scene. You got some sap, some Wookiees there are being forced to work. Let's jump forward. There's your little droid you carry with you. I have no doubt we'll be seeing these sold at Walmart for $69.99. I will definitely get one, which will go on my wall along with everything else. Especially if it can project holograms like that.
Understood.
Let's forward a bit more to the good parts. Alright, so I like the fact, mission objective free Wookiees, and when you pull up your map, it's in-game. It doesn't pull you out to a different menu completely, so it keeps you immersed in the action. I'm very much for that in gaming. I hate being pulled out of the action to look at a map, so nice they did that. And okay, here's the important part. Very important. The sound of a lightsaber being opened up, alright? Very critical to me. Let's watch that again in slow motion. Listen. Yes. Again. You know you'll be doing that 20 times when you use your lightsaber the first time. Force push, looks good, and beautiful lighting from the lightsaber. Is it just me, or is the sound of a lightsaber starting up so critical? So critical. Imperial Refinery. And, oh, this isn't Kashyyyk, by the way, so, Wookiee homeworld. Which makes no sense, because Chewbacca's a Wookiee on Endor. South Park reference. Thumbs up if you get that. Force push coming again. Alright, now I want to take a look at, your force abilities here. And, okay, check this out. There's a blue bar. Can you see the blue bar there? Okay, deflection is probably a passive that uses the force pull, and that uses the blue bar. And now, watch this. He freezes the bolt, and it's using the blue bar too, but okay, so that's not a passive. And throwing also uses the blue bar. I don't know what the white bar is. So, it seems that there's some passive abilities, like deflecting, but everything else seems to use force power. Some example of the physics involved. You can push objects into the troopers themselves, and here we see him take on this new trooper. Okay, skill points first of all. Let's just watch this scene. Nice. And lots of these mini bosses around. Okay, so I definitely like the action here. Force pull. I'm very curious about the actual combat itself. I miss the action from Jedi Academy, which I feel hit the best lightsaber content in any game ever made. And I'm hoping this kind of comes close. So we know there'll be a power attack, there'll be a quick attack, and we know there'll be some force powers. That looks like a quick attack from the bad guy. And some power moves coming now. Looks pretty good. Alright, so let's Saw Gerrera give him some instructions. Yeah, the action definitely looks compelling and interesting. How much control you have over the lightsaber itself is in direction of attack, I don't know yet, but that's a part I guess we'll have to wait and see. Let's keep moving. Okay. Oh, there's a stim pack, by the way. Alright, so you notice your health here looks to be about 3/4. Stim pack gives you about 1/4 health, and it's your little droid which launches that. Here we see some action in the background. You see stormtroopers just shooting those bugs coming through. And you have the option of actually watching the scene play through, or actually partaking in it. Here's him taking on the flamethrower. Now you can't deflect that, so he's going to attack him directly. Taking on some damage there, not too much though. Keeping in mind he's being burnt, alright. Some more climbing, not really a puzzle. He starts up that cutter. So you know your droid's going to be taking on all the little activities which revolve around opening things and starting up things. And here's his force freeze. Now watch the force meter here. Because I don't see his force meter use anything. So maybe it only uses the force meter in combat. Alright, they're going to be shooting some bugs here. I love the freeze. That's totally Kylo Ren, the whole freeze. Kind of, they mentioned it being a mix between push and pull. Taking on a little mini boss. Maybe does a finishing move with this guy here. Or not. Missed that. And let's see. Okay, here's something new. At certain points, you can sense what the last thoughts or actions were of a deceased individual, which I guess is important for the storyline. So he's hearing that that trooper was killed by some strange bugs. Oh, there it is. That's the mini boss I was looking for. Finishing move. Nice. All very satisfying so far as lightsaber combat goes. Good swim mechanics. Graphics not too bad at all, you know. Even for console, this looks pretty good. The water looks wet, which is a good sign. Here he goes. He's going to use the freeze ability again. And again, not going to use any of his force mana. So sometimes he uses it, sometimes it doesn't. I'm curious to know if skill points can be put into that to extend the length at which you can freeze something. That looks like an ability I would definitely put my skill points into. That and throwing the lightsaber. Here's the funny part. Listen to what the troopers...
They're coming. Oh, this is it. At least we have the high ground.
Okay, at least we have a high ground. Definitely giving a nod. Keeping in mind that Anakin just had his limbs chopped off and became Darth Vader. Obi-Wan saying, don't do it, I have the high ground. Darth Vader probably training this generation of troops and saying it's good to have the high ground because of the lesson he learned from that, right? That's what they were implying.
Holding a live cutter near the cell block. Immediate aid requested.
So here's a cool scene coming up. Not this one. Makes quick work of these guys. And freezing this bolt coming up right here. Then using force pull. Watch, freeze. Force pull. And throws the guy into his own bolt. Awesome. Isn't that great? Yeah. That's why I'll be putting all my skill points into that freeze effect for sure. And he's gonna take on a bunch of troopers with another mini-boss right here. So here's an interesting part. When you're taking on multiple enemies at the same time, how do you strategize this? Well, what you want to do is take out the small guys, or actually freeze the main guy as much as you can. He's going to do that in a second. So a bit of strategy involved. As opposed to just slashing your way through everything. See, he freezes the big guy there for a second so he can take on the small guys. And so far so good, you know. I'm liking what I see as far as combat. More than anything, I'm excited to learn more about the story. Because this is canon. This is actually legit canon in Star Wars now. And I'm very curious to learn more about Saw Gerrera. And I'm hoping to see some Saw Gerrera action. Also explaining why he took all the injuries he has that you see in Rogue One. Stim pack, healing about a quarter of your health. And off he goes to rescue the Wookiees. And right about here, we do see another important character. Well, maybe not important, but a character you will recognize.
We're here to free you. Not alone.
Not alone. Michael Jackson song, isn't it? Who's that? K2SO? Well, not K2SO, but that droid type. You know this guy, come on. Played by Alan Tudyk. A Leaf on the Wind. Now, obviously, that's not him because he was a good guy in Rogue One. But nice to see this droid. I'm curious to see
Visitation is not permitted.
what this droid can do, because obviously it's supposed to be a pretty serious boss to fight. And trailer ends off with some little cutscenes. Great. Some new weapons on the troopers there. Wall running. Nice. Walkers. Alright, I'm convinced. Let's pre-order this shit. Speaking of pre-orders, not that I will. Well, actually, I was looking at this very closely. $60. What do you get from pre-ordering the game? Well, you get to make your lightsaber yellow. And you know what? I'm kind of partial to blue, although you do get a yellow skin for your little droid there. Or you get this gold kind of skin, or you get this kind of shape here. And honestly, I'm liking the current shape of the saber as it is. So for me personally, there's nothing compelling about getting... What is this? This is the standard edition. There's nothing really compelling. I don't care about having a yellow blade. I kind of like the way it looks at the moment. It doesn't really matter if it's gold. You know what? I don't see it, but Deluxe Edition, what do you get for that? Deluxe Edition, you get the yellow color, you get the blue with gold trim, you get different shape there, you get the skin, or you get red, or you get to change the color of what will probably be your personal ship. I don't know what that is. A picture, and you probably get behind the scenes of the making of it. So, for me personally, nothing too compelling. I will just live with what I have. But otherwise, yeah. Very, very excited to see what will come of this. Give me your thoughts. Are you pre-ordering or not? Saw Gerrera, What's your call? Will he face Darth Vader? I'm calling it. Darth Vader cuts off his leg. For sure. You heard it here first. Anyway, if you enjoy this content, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Ring that bell. I'll see you in the next video coming up in a couple of minutes. Take care.